All right, cool.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I'm real excited to have James on today. James Norris, we were on yesterday, and I had a problem with the audio. So thanks for joining me again, James. Appreciate you being here, man.
Th- Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. So James is with Handi Capable Fitness. He started the company and just got an incredible story to share. Uh, when we get started here, I want to give a quick shout out and a thank you to my sponsor today for making this video possible. This Million Dollar Caller, milliondollarcaller.com. They're on all the social media platforms, and this is actually one of the shirts that they sent me. So really just thankful that they're making this possible. James, welcome. I appreciate you having you on the show today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Handi Capable Fitness and just kind of how you guys got started, and what got you interested in setting up that nonprofit.
Okay, perfect. So, um, to just backtrack to give the viewers a little bit of the background story, I'm 35 years old, have cerebral palsy, and over the last 6 or 7 years through fitness and nutrition, I've lost 65 pounds. Um, I was born premature, and I had to spend the first couple months of my life in the hospital. But other than that, I was born quote unquote normal. And then at the age of about 1.5, I went in for a hernia operation. It was during that hernia operation that the mask came off my face, and my brain was without air for 5.5 minutes, causing the cerebral palsy. Now, the doctors didn't say anything to my family at the time. They just sent me home like everything was good to go. And then my family realized that I wasn't hitting certain milestones that, your typical child should. So, being that we live in Boston, they called Children's Hospital, made an appointment, and very quickly, that's when they diagnosed me with the cerebral palsy. So that's how I came to have cerebral palsy. I tell people all the time that my family never really treated me any different. In fact, I believe that they were a little bit harder on me because they didn't want me to use my cerebral palsy as a crutch. And growing up, I was really into sports. I think that's kind of almost a rite of passage being from Boston. So I really identified with sports. Everything I did was sports related,
Okay.
and I played t-ball and wheelchair basketball, and it was great. It served its purpose. But I remember one day coming home and I told my mom, I said, I don't want to play that anymore. And she said, why? And I said, well, because my team won 4-3, but the coach said it ended in a tie. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And so she's like, okay. So, as I grew up through my teenage years, I would always watch sports and that sort of thing. And I knew I wanted to be involved in some way in that industry. So one day I was listening to sports radio and I heard a commercial come over the air for the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Fast forward, I went to broadcasting school, worked in Boston radio for about 5 to 6 years, then had the opportunity to move to California. And I'm thinking to myself, great, I get to get out of the snow, no more cold, don't know who I'm going to bump elbows with. This is the next step in my radio career. And I worked out there for about 6 months, and they came to me and said, hey, listen, the company has fallen on some hard times. You're the low man on the totem pole. You got to go. So that that really led to a big time depression for me because I went from living this active lifestyle. And when I say active lifestyle, I don't mean fitness related. I mean just socially, always going to concerts, sporting events, interacting with fans,
Gotcha.
the whole 9 yards. And I wasn't able to do that anymore because I really didn't know too many people in California, and everything is super spread out. So I had some family there, but they had their own life to take care of. So they couldn't be with me and bring me places all the time. So I really started to develop some unhealthy habits and begin to eat a lot, drink alcohol, and just not living a healthy lifestyle. And I remember after the year lease was up on the house, I was able to come back to Boston and get my old job back that I had at the radio station here.
Okay.
And I came home from work one day, and I was crawling up the stairs because I live on the second floor, and I got up to the top of the stairs and I was sweating like I ran the Boston Marathon. And I was like, oh man, I have to do something. At this point, I was only, in my early 20s. So I joined a local gym that was around the corner from my house, knew nothing about working out, would literally go in there every day and do the same workout. Finally, a trainer saw me and he's like, listen, you're in here every day. Let me design a program around your challenges, your goals. And one thing led to another, and I slowly started to see the weight come off. And I finally was able, for the first time, to discover that inner athlete that I had always been chasing. I knew I was never going to be the biggest, never going to be the fastest guy in the gym, but I was competing with myself. And
I
so
love
I was
that.
taking so I was taking videos of myself just to show my friends and family. And the trainer said to me, he goes, James, he says, if you're doing this, he goes, you might want to make a public account because you never know who could see it, who you could inspire, and what lives you could change. So
That's awesome.
that's how Handicapable Fitness, the social media platform, came to be. And I thought to myself after, you know, showing some videos of myself, I was like, listen, nobody wants to sit here and watch me do bicep curls every day. If I'm doing this, there has to be other people that are in unique situations or similar situations doing the same thing. So that's when I started to highlight other handicapable athletes. And the goal of the page is as people are scrolling through aimlessly, wasting time on Instagram, um, they see themselves represented on the page, whether they have cerebral palsy, a spinal cord injury, an amputation, whatever the case may be. And then they find the courage to go after their own dreams, and they realize that they're not defined by their disability.
I love that.
Um, and I was like, okay, this is all great that I'm spotlighting these people and all these different things, but I want to give back more. And then that's when I turned Handicapable Fitness into a nonprofit organization. And our mission is to connect those with physical challenges to qualified fitness professionals and the equipment needed to live that active lifestyle so they can really get out there and embrace everything that life has to offer.
I love that. And I saw in your link tree you've got deal where you're trying to get equipment for another girl there that I think she was a friend of yours, but trying to help athletes get equipment and things so they can continue in their fitness journey, right?
Yes, I mean, because for me, fitness is just something that I relate to, but really, I want to get people out there and get them living somewhat of an active lifestyle. So if somebody says, "Hey, I've been really wanting to do a Spartan race, or I've been really wanting to get a special wheelchair where I can go on the beach with my family," Handicapable Fitness wants to step in and be able to at least give a scholarship, and then if donations come in and we're able to get sponsors and all that good stuff, and we're able to front the full cost, we would absolutely love to do that as well.
That's awesome. When did you start Handicapable Fitness? When did the 501c3
We
launch?
te- we technically became a nonprofit legally in July of 2020. So
Okay.
we're coming up on just about a year.
That's awesome. Well, man, congratulations. And the thing that I love about your story, just the start of it here, is you took something that was, I mean, for anybody is a really difficult thing to get through. And a lot of people lay around and feel sorry for themselves. I mean, I did after some injuries and stuff where like I'm later on getting fat. I was in a wheelchair for a little while with with this injury, trying to just figure out how to keep in shape, and it's easy to lay around and just get feel sorry for yourself or have the why me kind of an attitude. But I love that you decided to get out and not only pursue that fitness journey, but also that you had turned this into something where you're helping other people and inspiring them. And I mean, even just posting your videos online, and we connected on Instagram, I think originally, but just posting that stuff on there where people can go, hey, why not me? If James can do this, I can get in shape too. I can overcome my obstacles. So I love that part of your story.
Exactly, and one of my it's funny because one of my favorite country music singers, Garth Brooks, has a song called Unanswered Prayers. And basically, a quick overview of the song is he wants something so bad and he doesn't end up getting it, but then years later, he gets something else and he realizes that, hey, if that didn't happen and I didn't, and I would have gotten that other thing, I would have missed out on this. And that's completely how I feel about, you know, missing out on radio or getting laid off from radio. It's not a bad thing. It was actually a blessing in disguise, because now it has allowed me to connect with so many different people in so many different ways. And I honestly see my cerebral palsy now as a superpower because I can relate to so many different people, not just the handy capable person, but also their families. And it allows me to be an advocate for them as well to say, hey, listen, these are the services that worked good for me when I was in school, or this is what you should look out for. So really, it's become such a huge blessing.
I love that. And your attitude is just awesome. That's the biggest separator, I think, from people who become successful in whether that's athletics or financial or whatever. But people who become successful in life are typically ones that go, yeah, maybe you had some hard times, situation sucks, but you've decided to maximize and make the best out of that, and set your mind on being positive and an inspiration, and doing the most that you can with what you're given. I love that.
Yeah, I truly believe that it all boils down to your mindset and perspective. You can, like you said, you can sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I can't walk, I can't do this, I can't do that." But okay, what can you do? I know I can get up out of bed today and I can make myself go to the gym and do the work that I'm supposed to be doing. And really, it's compounding those habits every day that build that bigger goal that you try to reach. So for me, when I set out, I didn't say to myself, I'm going to lose 65 pounds because that's a big elephant in the room right there.
Yeah.
How I looked at it was, okay, I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to get 10 Walmart salads because I know eating salad is good for me. So if I can eat these 10 salads, that's a step in the right direction. And I could lay my head down on the pillow at night knowing that I put my best foot forward for that day.
That's great. And so you talk about, you started out getting to the gym just because you had a hard time getting up the stairs and overweight there. But I'm seeing, I was looking at your website on handicapablefitness.com. There's pictures of you here. The one looks like you're teaching a classroom, or you're in a gymnasium teaching a whole bunch of kids, and you just helping inspire them. This other one I'm looking at, you're rock climbing. You got looks like
Yeah.
you're with the trainer there, and different athletics and all kinds of stuff that just really cool stuff to be doing, even if there is no disability or no physical challenge there. But for you to be pushing through that and still giving yourself to help these other people is just really inspirational thing to me.
Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, like I said, I do, or I do this because it's fun for me, like Spartan races, rock climbing, skiing, all these different things. I do it because it's fun, obviously, but also going back to the whole Instagram thing and why I started doing those videos is because I want people to see me doing a bunch of different things so that they can see themselves doing those things and say, you know what? I feel like going skiing today. Then next thing you know, they call a local ski mountain in their area and see if they have an adaptive ski program. Then next thing you know, they find out that they do, and they're out there skiing and they're on the slopes. Because I'll be honest with you, before I really took this plunge into this whole fitness lifestyle, I had no idea that there was so many different activities. Like I said, I knew that there was the wheelchair basketball and the wheelchair baseball, but I thought that was the extent of it. I didn't know that there was all these other activities.
That's awesome. And what a cool thing that your personal trainer decided to reach out and say, hey, maybe I can help. Maybe I can. I mean, that sounds like that guy changed your life as far as just deciding to help you see that there's more you could be doing than just the same exercise you're doing every day, huh?
Absolutely, 110%. I mean, and that one thing I want to do is I want to talk to the fitness professionals out there just real quick. It's great to be a personal trainer and help somebody lose weight, to get a six pack, to do all these extra things. But imagine how cool it is when you help somebody with a physical challenge realize that they can do simple everyday activities that oftentimes we all take for granted. Oh, picking up a laundry basket, picking up their kids, gaining range of motion in their legs so that they can, take a walk with their family using a walker. To
Yeah.
me, that is what it boils down to. And that's, in my mind, that's the definition of success right there, is really helping somebody that way.
Oh, I love that. Um, and so, besides the personal trainer, I mean, I've seen. I'm looking at this other deal here. You with a whole group of guys. Looks like maybe that was a Spartan race, but you got this
Yes.
awesome wheelchair with looks like studded mountain bike tires. Was that a? Were you competing in that race?
Well, I was participating, but
Okay,
we just kind of went at our own pace and finished it when we did. But I will say, because that was my second Spartan race, we actually finished quicker than we did the first time. So we beat our time, which was awesome. And just a real quick story about that wheelchair. That wheelchair actually started as an MIT class project.
really?
Um, the the developers were at MIT, and their project was to come up with a wheelchair that could be used in a third world country. And that there's been several different renditions of it now. Um, but basically, what you do is you pump it with your arms, and it's all pretty much made out of mountain bike parts. So if somebody's out there and they happen to get a flat or something, you can easily go to your local bike shop and be able to fix it yourself. But that's what we use to uh, do the Spartan races, to go hiking on the beach. It literally goes anywhere and everywhere. I bring that
That's
thing in the
awesome,
snow, so it's a really cool piece of equipment.
man. That's cool. And you mentioned living on the second story, on the second floor apartment. What made you decide
Yes.
to do that? Is that okay for me to ask? What made you decide to do that instead of getting a
Uh,
handicap accessible place?
oh
Or
yeah. Oh yeah. That's totally fine. So
probably
so
just because
one.
you're the man, huh?
Well, you said it. I didn't. But the check's in the mail. Um, um, you know, honestly, we just took what we could get at the time. But then, to add another layer onto it, my bedroom's on the third floor, and that I wanted because I wanted to keep active and keep moving. So I'll leave my wallet on the third floor sometimes in my room and force myself to go get it, because I realize that most of the time I'm sitting down and I'm stagnant.
Yeah.
So I want to move as much as possible. So I force myself to go up and down the stairs, and because I lost the weight, honestly, it's been a whole lot easier on my knees. So it
So
doesn't
you
hurt.
probably need to have some cheat days, eat a few donuts or something to get that that level of resistance back, huh?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm
Start
always down for donuts.
start carrying rocks up the stairs or something.
That's right. I tell people all the time. I said, "Man, you know how those people go across the hot coals in Hawaii? I bet I could do that on my knees, no problem."
That's awesome. Well, hey, what other what insights do you have? Somebody we've got on this show right now. We've got 660,000 some odd people that have got access to the stream. So I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are everywhere from elite athlete to folks that have no mobility whatsoever. But what advice would you give for somebody that's looking to improve their fitness and just try to start getting back into, or maybe taking their first steps to start getting active?
You just said it. Just start. Just take those first steps, and don't look at that overall big goal that you want to hit. Set small goals each and every day that you can check off. Like I said, for me, it was, okay, I'm going to eat these Walmart salads, and I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to work out a half hour. And the thing is, when you set those small goals and you hit them, you build the confidence in yourself, and you feel better about yourself. So you
Yeah.
want to keep going. And you know what? The last thing I'll say, in on the flip side of that is, let's say set these small goals and you're doing great, and then you fall off and you have one of those donuts, or you don't go to the gym that day. Don't beat yourself up. What's done is done. You can't take it back, but what you can control is what's in the future. So focus on that.
Well, that's awesome. And where are you based out of?
Boston.
Okay, still in Boston. Okay. Um, Man, if I was closer, we could go do some hiking or something. I'd be happy to go with you and let you whip me back into shape as well.
Well, you know what? I think I might have to take a trip out to Colorado then.
Sounds good. See if I can keep up or not. Man, I sure appreciate you being on the show and just
I
thanks for
think you
sharing.
could.
If somebody's
Thank
wanting
you
to
so much for the
support,
time.
yeah, absolutely, bud. If somebody's wanting to support Handy Capable Fitness and the athletes that you're trying to help out, what's the best way for them to connect with you, and what's the best way for them to support the athletes you're sponsoring?
Super easy. Just go to handicablefitness.com. You have the donation button right there, and then you can make a donation. We're also looking for in-kind donations. So if you have any sort of, graphic design talent, videographer, whatever the case may be, you can reach out through social media, send me an email, and any support would be greatly appreciated.
Awesome. And then do you have a way for people to donate tax deductible? If they've got wheelchairs or equipment or a vehicle or something to give away, are you guys able to accept that?
You know what? That's a good question. I would assume so, but I can check with my lawyers to just double check and make sure. Um, but we are 100% tax exempt.
That's awesome. Man, I sure appreciate you being on the show again, James. That was just we had a great conversation yesterday. I know our viewers couldn't hear us, but really glad you were on again today. And just thanks so much for sharing your story with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone out there watching and listening who is either watching live or will in the future. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Sounds good. Thanks again, James. I'll keep following you on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll have to keep chatting here in the future.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.